All right. Last time we created your first program from scratch, and when we did that, you probably noticed some freaky things going on here or there. I even mentioned here are some things going on here or there, but almost certainly you probably noticed that some of the text was different colors and everything. Well, those are part of the code typing tools that are part of an IDE, and so they're very helpful when you're typing your code to help you keep everything straight. They're also helpful when you're looking back over the code. It makes it a lot easier to read, for you to identify different parts and pieces. We're going to go ahead and open this. We're going to use that same first program, and we're going to start looking at the four things mentioned in the course text. But before we get too far, one thing that I want to emphasize here is that these typing tools are specific, or they differ a little bit from one IDE to the next. And actually that's why we have this separate video here for Eclipse and didn't just do it in Visual Studio, so that you can see with the actual colors used in Eclipse and the way it works. So since it is different for every IDE, it's not that you need to memorize, hey, this color is means this, or this color means that, because it could change. However, as you keep typing more and more code and everything, especially if you're doing it in the same IDE all the time, which you probably are, you'll just kind of pick up on it. It's very similar to the fact when you see a yellow bus, you know it's a school bus type of thing, or you know that a fire truck is red, or that type of thing. Now, in some places those aren't the colors, but you get the idea. It makes everything a whole lot easier to read. And here you see this is green. I cannot recall an IDE that I've ever used where comments are not green. We'll talk more about comments coming up. You'll learn all about them and how to do them. But yeah, so those are green. Here, this is a what color is that? Anyway, that's a different color than this, which is a blue. We can say that much. And of course, this is blue. And this is highlighted with something that almost looks like a plum color on my screen. But the idea here is that they are different colors, so that you can separate them out, this part from this part and everything. So what we're going to do now, that was the first thing, was coloring, is look at the underlining. Now sometimes this can be a little tricky to get it to do on purpose, but you've seen it before in that last video with the whole using namespace standard thing. Okay. Well, actually, it's underlining like all of this stuff here. So actually, yeah. Now the thing is this is actually correct, but it's still underlined. So that I can make this the same as the Visual Studio. Actually, what I did with that one was to take out that R, and then that made that underline, and some of these other things underline. To IO Steam instead of input output stream, it's input output Steam. But you notice once I fixed this, it didn't necessarily go away, and that's one thing to take note of with this underlining, is that when you get to the end of a line, now you might get some stuff that comes up while you're typing, maybe, But it's once you finish, once you hit the semicolon and enter, okay, if you've still got some squiggles in the line above, that's when you're going to want to check out and see what's going on. Okay, if you've got a bunch of these, see, so we're going to mouse over this. That's the cool thing here. If you've got something like this, you can mouse over it. That symbol could not be resolved. Unfortunately, that's coming from the error way up here at iHosting. And so that's why I was saying when you're typing, you need to make sure if you've got a squiggle in the line above, go ahead and address it quickly. Because, if you get a whole lot of these, you can't just use the typing tools necessarily to fix that. Okay. So let me get rid of this extra space. And when you get to that situation, you're just going to you're going to need to go ahead and go through the whole debugging process, which will be the next set of videos in the next section. Pretty sure it's the next section. And I'm actually going to leave these errors here from this video. I'm going to leave them in here, and we're going to, when we get to that debugging syntax errors, they'll be there for us to come through and fix, and so that way I can show you that process. Now, something that's not that doesn't come up default in Visual Studio that's here are these little bug things in the margin. So, and then you've got like this little symbol here. There's a syntax error. Well, back to not to beat a dead horse, but really, there's nothing wrong with that. Oh, actually, there is. What do you know? Now, oh, it did fix. Okay, well, we got that taken care of. So there was a problem there. So it did fix that one right away. Okay. So now we actually should have some more problems down here coming from this, believe it or not. So these typing tools aren't perfect. This should actually cause some errors down in here because cout is part of iostream. But we're going to go ahead and take that out. So now we've got a bug here. And so that's, let me see real quick. Did that make our, yeah, okay, that's good. That's very good. So this is operator. I took one of the little less than signs out, so now it's not making any sense to C++, to the IDE, to the compiler, debugger. But it did actually put us in that extra little squiggle here. Okay. Let's see if we can do something similar there and call it in instead of int. That actually should cause some problems here. And well, it will. Don't worry, because this isn't defined. Not important. We'll go through that debugging again in the next set of videos. I wanted this. Now it showed up last time. I'm going to call this something different. I'm going to call it unused int. And put that there. Well, it's not coming up with it this time. We'll see this in the debugging though. In the last video, it came up with a little triangle. It was actually a warning on this that came up. So, but we'll see that in all of the debugging. So there's also the autocomplete. Now I think, see, this isn't doing any autocomplete stuff for me. I think there may be a plugin that you can put in for Eclipse that you could look for that will do more of your autocomplete stuff for you. I'm going to try this one again. Let me actually start from the very beginning. Wipe out the whole line. Yeah, see, it's not going to come up with any autocomplete for me. If you're curious what the autocomplete looks like, watch the video. It's just above this one. Watch the video for Visual Studio, and as you're typing, it will come up with suggestions, and it does it a lot. It can get a little annoying sometimes, but it can really help out sometimes too. So what will happen is it'll be a little pop-up thing, like when we moused over this and it said invalid overload of end L. So that's where a lot of this is coming from there, because it's not it can't find the overload because it's part of IO string. So anyway, well, C out, which is part of IO string. But again, so if you've got autocomplete tools that will come up, they'll show up kind of like a pop up here where you see this, and let's see. Well, I mean, I guess that's all I can say about autocomplete. Now there is an extra little thing that I want to show you. If you looked at the source code viewer for the last video, you noticed that there were several lines that you didn't see before. So this isn't necessarily a code typing tool, but it can make reading your program a lot easier. And that's these little dots here. Now they're bound to be very tiny in the video. I'm not sure exactly. I mean, they're difficult for me to read just looking at it, but they're little pluses and minuses. So that lets you collapse and expand. There you go. See, I just expanded that, so now this is a minus. It's actually just like the navigation system for the course. Those little plus and minus, these are very, very tiny. So what this allows you to do is to get, now with main, see this is right by main, you can actually collapse all of main. So I just wanted to point that out, because as your programs get bigger and bigger, it may be very useful to oh my goodness, I skipped something. Well, good, the video's not over. This can be very useful for getting some things out of your way, so you can go around and look at just what you're working on, and not, things can get very, very lengthy where you've got hundreds of lines of code and stuff, and it's like, well, I'm not interested in this, and this, and so you just click them and make them smaller. Okay, I apologize. I skipped over something here, and that was the highlighting here. Now, there we go. So I've got this is the biggest reason you might want to do that, and that is the open parentheses, and even these curly brackets, the braces. If you see, I've got that highlighted. Look, there's a little box around this one, so that, and you can do it in the other direction too. So if you want to, well, you got to get it to select. There we go. So I've selected the close. Now it tells me where it opens. This becomes very, very important, because as your programs get bigger, you're going to have a lot of these curly brackets, and they're going to be nested inside of each other, and then you'll have sets of them going straight down, and with all kinds of nesting going on and everything. Don't let that freak you out. I mean, it actually keeps everything very logical and straight. It's a great system, except, okay, well, this one, where does this one end? There is actually kind of a neat little system with doing it this way that is used. Like if the closing one, you just go straight up, and then what you hit, that's where it opens. But sometimes it's not quite so clear, or you're having to scroll to get one from one to the next. That's when it really comes in handy. So you select that, and there you've got that. So that's a really good use of shading. Now another thing here, let's see, so we're on that line. Let's see if I can get that. It's not going to get, there we go. So this tells you a little bit. It says main. If you right click on this, does it let you do anything with main? In Eclipse it doesn't. So anyway, so that was the shading. All right, so I got that a little out of order, so let's go back and review, and let me do it in the order that's in the text of the course here. First thing, coloring. Different things are different colors. It's not important to memorize, oh, this color means this color means that, though they're almost always comments. I don't remember seeing them anywhere in color coding where comments aren't green, but anyway, because those colors are going to vary from one editor or from one IDE to the next, so that color scheme can be different. It's just the idea that different things are different colors, and the more you type, particularly in a single IDE, you'll start to notice if something's out of place, if something's not right. And also, once you've written your program, it makes it a whole lot easier when you're going back through. Those different colors they won't exactly stand out. They'll just be, it will just make it a whole lot easier to read. I don't know exactly how else to explain that, but that's the way that goes. The next thing we talked about was the underline. So this is a little squiggly underline. It works somewhat like a spell checker, but not exactly the same. But it is important that once you finish a line, once you've ended with a semicolon and you go to the next line, if you see that you've got some squiggles, you probably want to address that right away to see what's going on. And you can do that by mousing over and it will pop up. Unfortunately, this error is coming from the fact that this one is not oh, there we go. There's some information from mousing over. That's good. Link to standard output, but this is where that comes from. See, it gets to be a mess. So if you start getting them on multiple lines, you need to just do the debugging, which is in the next section and the next set of videos, and we'll get to that. All right, so we had coloring, underlining, then shading, which I accidentally skipped. The big thing there is that you can use it to match parentheses and braces in your code, and that is a big helpful thing with shading. There was the autocomplete, which didn't seem to work here too much. Like I said, I think there's a plugin somewhere. This is kind of, I had and pause it. Yeah. Anyway, so couldn't really get any autocomplete to show up. But again, if you want to see how that would work, you could go look at the Visual Studio video. This is just like, well, it's not just like this one. It's a lot like this one, except it's for Visual Studio. And then we also talked about not exactly a code typing tool, but you have the expand and collapse that you can use. Okay, you can expand and collapse just like that to get some things kind of out of your way, so that when you're jumping around, you're not having to look at just you're not having to go back and forth between hundreds of lines of code. Of course, you could also split the, I'm not sure if Eclipse lets you split the screen. You can do that in the Visual Studio, though, to where you've got part of your screen here and part of it here. If you've ever done that in like Excel, it works the same way in Visual Studio. Anyway, but this is about Eclipse. That is our that's our little review. Colors, underlining, the shading, and then the autocomplete. I couldn't seem to get to work quite right here, and then we talked about the expand and close. And I'm going to leave all of these little errors in here, and we're going to come back to this program. Oh, one thing very quickly. That is spell checking. That is actually spell checking. How about that, because we left this closed. Anyway, we're going to leave all of these errors in here, and we're going to come back in the next section and show you the process of going through and debugging syntax errors. So let me save all this, make sure it's there for the next video, and we'll close that out. Okay, and so we'll see you when we get to the debugging syntax error video. This concludes another video for Introduction to Programming with C++, brought to you by LogiKomp. You can access the full course by going to the course homepage at LogiKomp.com/introcpp. While we are proud to offer this course free of cost to individuals, we do ask that if you continue to use the course, that you support its production and maintenance by making at least a small purchase from LogiKomp Domains and Hosting. You can pick up a custom domain, renewable annually, for around $10 at LogiKomp.com/hosting. Thank you.